So you've got a neutral outlook on a stock or an index, and you want to implement some strategy around that neutral outlook. So what are the two most common strategies that you could use to actually execute on this idea? Well, I would say for my money, it's going to be a short strangle or an iron condor. And this is where using derivatives and options, even futures, really differentiates itself quite significantly from something like stock, where you're basically going to be directional all the time. You're either playing it higher or you're playing it lower. But using options, you don't have to trade higher or lower at all. You can just play the middle. You can literally just trade time and volatility and not necessarily take a directional stance. And of course, the two most common ways to do that are the short strangle and the iron condor. So what I want to do now, let's hop right into Tasty Trade and let's kind of stack up these two strategies side by side and work through some of the gimmies and some of the gotchas here together. All right, so I'm inside of my Tasty Trade portfolio. You see I have IWM pulled up. This is the Russell 2000 index selling for about $273 per share. So let's say that you wanted to do something in IWM that was neutral. It did not necessarily have a directional bias. Well, let me open up the June cycle with 51 days to go. And let's start by just setting up a very simple short strangle right at the expected move. Now, the short strangle, of course, is going to be the undefined risk version of playing a neutral strategy. So let me go down to the bottom of the expected move. You can see that's right around the 255 strike or thereabouts. So maybe I sell a 255 put, and then I scroll down on the screen, which of course is going to be up in strikes just to keep you guys on your toes. I go to the top of the expected move. That looks like right around 291 or 292 on the call side. So you could choose either one of those. I'm going to choose the 292 strike. So if we look across the trade bar, we can see this is how a short strangle right at the expected move typically sets up a probability of profit, usually around 65 to 70% right here. We're at 66%. All the extrinsic value I'm collecting, about $500 to $600. My P50 is 80, 81%. So that's pretty solid, pretty delta neutral, which again, that's what I want, right? I want to trade this neutral. I don't want to have a directional bias. And so as we've set it up right here, we are checking that box. A lot of positive theta. I'm picking up, obviously, positive theta on both sides of the strategy with the short put and the short call. And so that is why I have so much time decay working for me. Maximum profit, of course, is going to be my credit collected, but that is on the per contract basis, and that is on a per share basis. Maximum loss is negative infinity, which means that theoretically you could reach a state where you are never not losing money. Now, for that to happen, you would need IWM to print positive infinity, which I'm going to say that's a very, very low likelihood of happening in the next 51 days. But you have to decide how likely that is for yourself. Buying power effect, about $3,600. So I'm going to probably want to have $40,000 to $50,000 account to do this trade correctly, to where you're not oversized. I would say 50,000 would be maybe a little bit better than 40,000. So not necessarily a trade that would fit a tasty bite-sized account that's really small. You're going to want to have a decent amount of capital for this trade. Now, by taking a look at the curve view of this exact same trade, we get a nice visual representation of what this strategy looks like. Anything between my strikes is going to be positive, right? Anything between my strikes, that's what I want to have happen. Again, I don't want the stock to move. This is a pretty delta neutral strategy. Now, again, as the stock moves and things start to change, it's not going to necessarily stay delta neutral. If IWM starts to rally, I'm going to become bearish. I'm going to become negative delta because I want it to come back into the center. If IWM starts going down, I'm going to become bullish. I'm going to be positive delta because, again, I want IWM to come back into the center. But you can see my little tent here in the center. This is where I want the stock to live. This is where I'm going to be profitable on the strategy. And then, of course, I have unlimited risk on both sides of the market. So I have unlimited risk to the upside. I have unlimited risk to the downside. And so you have to be aware that with an undefined risk strategy, that is quite literally what you are signing up for: unlimited potential risk. Now, again, practically speaking, not necessarily a realistic outcome that IWM is going to print positive infinity, but it could get pretty nasty and it could get pretty bad. So you have to be aware of that when you're doing a naked strategy or an undefined risk strategy. But this is a visual representation of what you're kind of going for with a neutral strategy by way of a short strangle. Okay, so now we're back on the table view, still in IWM, still with our Strangle setup. Let's now turn to the defined risk version of a short Strangle, the Iron Condor. And so this is another great way to play the market from a neutral bias. And again, you can't do this with stock. Like, you can't do this with mutual funds. Like, you can't call up Vanguard and say, hey, let me get a neutral strategy in your most popular mutual fund. I mean, they will look at you or listen to you cross-eyed or cross-eared, thinking, man, what are you talking about? And so we can do this all the time with options and derivatives, and it's a really, really popular way to play the market, of course. So we have our strikes set up the same way that we had them set up with the Strangle. You can see I've got a 255 put and a 295 call. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and buy some wings on both sides of that strategy to turn this strategy from an undefined risk strategy into a defined risk strategy. So if I go down to the put side, right now I'm short a 255 put. I could buy the 250 put. Now I have a $5 wide put spread on that side of the market. I still have undefined risk though, because I haven't capped off my upside with the call options yet, but I'm going to do the exact same thing on that side of the market. So let me go down to my call strike here. I buy a 297 call. So now you can see a lot of metrics around this trade have indeed changed. My probability of profit has dropped. It's dropped rather significantly, in my opinion. You've lost about 10 percentage points on your probability. Now, this is the gimme gotcha exchange. This is probably the classic trade-off between undefined risk and defined risk. I mean, undefined risk strategies, you have the undefined risk, of course, but you also have much higher probabilities in terms of pops and P50s and what have you. So once you define your risk, you're going to lose out on a significant chunk of that. Now, some of you might be looking at this thinking, Jim, I'm willing to make that trade. Like, that's well worth it to define the risk, and that's what makes a market. Like, that's what makes what we do so beautiful. There's so many different ways that you can kind of implement whatever bias you might have. P50 here is 72%. My delta is still pretty neutral. I'm a little bit skewed to the downside now, so it's a little different than the Strangle was, but still not too significantly different. My theta is a lot less positive. So this is another key thing that's going to change from undefined risk to defined risk. With undefined risk, you have unfiltered exposure to the Greeks. I have unfiltered exposure to theta because I'm just selling options. There are no long options to kind of muddy the waters. There are no long options to kind of water down that exposure that I have from the short options. But you see that right here with this theta. So instead of having, we had $12 or $13 a day with the Strangle, now I've only got $2 a day. So I still have positive decay and time is still working for me, but it's not working nearly as hard as it was with the short Strangle strategy. My maximum profit is going to be a lot less than what I had with the Strangle because, again, I'm buying those wings and I'm buying those options to define that risk, so it changes the return profile of the strategy significantly, but it also changes the loss profile and the risk profile of the strategy as well. So now my maximum loss is known. My maximum loss is fixed on entry. If I don't change anything about this strategy over its life, I know with certainty the most I can lose is going to be this amount of money. And that's why my buying power effect is going to essentially track to the maximum loss, because no matter what happens and how wrong I might be with IWM going higher or IWM going lower or what have you, my maximum loss is known, it is fixed, and the worst case scenario is indeed cemented down on trade entry. And so if we look at a visual representation of an Iron Condor, it's going to look very similar to what we saw with the Strangle. Like, you have your tent in the middle here where you can make money and where you're profitable on the trade. It's neutral. You want the stock to bounce around, to stay between your short strikes, all the same things that we saw with the short Strangle. The key difference, of course, being look at my loss zones. So I still lose money on both sides of the market. I still lose money if I'm not in a neutral type of environment for the stock, but you see there's a horizontal line on the bottom of the loss zones, which we did not see with the short Strangle because, again, the risk was undefined and the risk is theoretically unlimited. That is not the case with an Iron Condor because you know the worst case scenario on order entry. And so that, of course, is, the greatest, the most beneficial quality of any defined risk strategy, but specifically an Iron Condor relative to a short Strangle. You know the maximum loss that you could endure on the strategy. The worst case scenario is known on entry. There's no guesswork. There's no hoping it's going to be okay or anything like that. Like, you know what the worst case scenario is, which is really powerful. So there you go. Those are the two most popular ways to take a neutral stance in the marketplace. The short strangle and the iron condor. I mean, both want the stock to just bounce around. Both want essentially low realized volatility, and both are going to benefit if the stock does indeed stay between the short strikes. So how do you decide? How do you choose which one to go for? Well, I think it largely depends on, do you want to trade something undefined risk, or do you want to trade something defined risk? Because again, the short strangle is going to give you better probabilities and it's going to give you better exposure to the Greeks, but it is undefined risk. So you need to make sure that you address that aspect of the risk category of the strategy before any other. Because then with an iron condor, I am going to have lower probabilities and I am going to have less exposure to the Greeks, but now my maximum loss is known. My worst case scenario is known on order entry because the risk is defined. And so you ultimately have to decide what's going to make the most sense for you, of course. But I will say this, if you're a brand new trader, you're just getting started, I would absolutely unequivocally choose the iron condor. For people that have followed me for any length of time, I'm from Theory to Practice, you know, iron condors are not my favorite strategy. Maybe that's a separate calculated risk for a future date, but it doesn't matter. If you're just starting and you're learning how to trade the market neutral, it's a great strategy from a learning standpoint. It's a great strategy to kind of gain exposure where you don't take a directional stance in the market and you still learn how to potentially make money. Now, again, if you're experienced in your season, maybe you move into more short strangles. Maybe you do some more undefined risk. But for my beginner traders out there, I would absolutely unequivocally start with the iron condor and then work your way up from that. Never forget, it's not a competition. It is not a race. The markets will be here tomorrow, and I'll see you guys next time.